Hey everyone, John Henry here from School of Trade. Today we're going to be taking a look at a short trade here on crude oil, looking at the market, kind of seeing this as a mistake by the market, that we had that huge burst higher and then, well, nobody showed up to the party. We had this massive bull candle right here, and that's after we had this big bull run. Nice little kind of a pause, a little bit of a flag there, and then slams higher again. Only this time around, they couldn't even get another bull candle before giving back almost all of that breakout higher. So with that failure at the highs, the market is appearing to see this as somewhat of a mistake up here and likely going to rotate back down towards the lows. Now, the reason that we're looking towards the lows here is primarily because if we zoom back and we just look at what's gone on today, we started at the highs, we pushed down to the lows, pushed up to the highs, pushed down to the lows, and then we pushed all the way back up to the highs again. So we're in somewhat of a multiple trend type day where the buyers can take control, and then when they're done with the move, the sellers take control, so on and so on and so on. And they just keep kind of exchanging, right? They give it to the buyers and they give it to the sellers, and then each one has their own objective. In this case, because the sellers are coming in at the highs, or at least it's what we're looking for their objective to be, well, you guessed it, right back down to those lows again before we start seeing some buyers coming back in, and maybe from there, they go back up towards the highs again. So we're just kind of widening out this cycle right now. So a short here at 46.20, the first objective, we have to be paying attention to the fact that we do have a weekly support level here at 45.77. So I do want to take some profit off at that level, but I am going to be holding out for the final objective down to the lows here, 56. We're going to go ahead of that to 59, and that's going to be the final objective towards the downside. Now, once we can get triggered in here at 46.20, the stop will go above the highs here, so the stop will be placed at around 39, and that's just, it kind of becomes a waiting game. Then we're just waiting to see if the sellers can get in and drive this market. So now we have the entry. Let's get the stop in place. You can see the risk reward is phenomenal on this, so everything is pointing very well in terms of a good trade here. Now we just need to wait to see if the sellers are seeing the same thing, and if they can drive it lower to get that first objective at 80, and then the secondary one back to the low a day at around 59. All right, seeing the sellers pushing aggressively lower here, we're nearing our first objective at 80, but I want to make sure, because we've fallen so aggressively, I just want to get my stop locked into a profitable position regardless, because if it comes back now after a drop like this, probably don't want to be in it, right? And now we've come one tick away from the target, and there we get the target fill. Beautiful. So now let's adjust the stop. One contract, let's go the other way. One contract is left here. There we go. And now we're looking for a continued push lower. Now, I like my stop here at 46.12, primarily because that's the last time that we saw the buyers really try to give it a shot. And, I mean, look at the reaction, right? It didn't go so well. So now that they've got hammered lower, we know that the sellers do still mean business, and we do still have that potential downside objective, but I don't want to give back any profit either. So, you know, once this candle closes, I may even lock above that, but until we see how it closes, there's no reason to jump the gun and do that. So right now, stop is at 46.12, looking for the final objective back towards the low a day. Seeing the sellers attempting to get a drive lower here, we formed a little bit of a range, so I've locked my stop above that. I don't want to see that range broken. We should be able to, given how heavy this is and where we just saw the buyers get trapped in above this little high here, we should have enough fuel to get the push down to get our target filled as long as we hit all of their stops. Buyer stops are likely underneath these lows around that 63 area, so we know that we're hitting them right now. 63, 62, 61 in that area is where all of those stops are going to be. Now, notice one thing, normally with a stop run, if there's going to be a buyer there that's going to accumulate it, in this case because they're sell stops, you'd see it hit and then immediately bounce. But in this case, we hit the stops and it never bounced. It kept going down. So that's a sign of downside strength, and there we get the breakdown. So beautiful move lower. It's exactly what we were looking for, and that's why we wanted to hold on to that final one just to see if the market wanted to give it to us. And in this case, we cycled all the way back down from those highs. Beautiful fade off the highs. Market mistake at the top, telling the market essentially, whoops, didn't mean to do that, and the sellers pile on and slam it lower. So that's going to do it for me. If you have any questions about it, feel free to send an email into School of Trade. Don't forget to check out our trial at schooloftrade.com. And as always, we'll catch you next time.